They not they know Big B handling. Yes, sir. In the house. Say something. So come get some, you little buns. Mm-hmm.
The R-rated Super Bowl halftime show.
Mm-hmm. What up, what up, what up? What's going on tonight? What up? Chill Will. Turbo, what up, brother? Peter, what's up, brother? You running good? Ian, what's up, brother? All right. You dudes good? So we saw a damn good game last night. James, what's up, brother? Thought we saw a damn. Thought I watched a damn good game last night. King, what up, yo? Watched a damn good game last night. That was pretty awesome. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Everybody filing in. Sean, what up, brother? I wasn't sure if that. I had the Celtics pick to win the series in 6, and I thought that they squandered that opportunity. I didn't think that they were going to do it again. I didn't think that they could do it again. I did not. I thought that they were going to squander that. What up, Cloud? How you doing, brother? What up, Keyshawn? Mm-hmm. I really didn't. I also didn't think that. Jimmy Butler could go off like he did again, which he did. I wasn't surprised that he went off, but I didn't think he could go off like he did in game 6. I was like, nah, he ain't doing that again. So, young baller, what up? Gutter, what up? It was obvious what they was trying to do with Marcus Smart when they got into the meat and potatoes of the game. So, not cursed. Do you have Jimmy over Kawhi or PG? No, I do not, sir. Mm-mm. I do not have Jimmy Butler over Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. Actually, I take that back. I don't have him over Kawhi Leonard. We could have the discussion about him and Paul George. I think he's ahead of Paul George. I said that Jimmy Butler was overrated. I'd like to get some footage on that. I would definitely like to get some footage on that. I said that Jimmy Butler was overrated. I remember saying Tracy McGrady was overrated. I remember saying Kyrie was overrated. I said Jimmy Butler was overrated. So if I said that Jimmy Butler was overrated, that means that he had to be held in a really high regard. Now, what are you talking about when you say, like, in what context were we talking about Jimmy Butler being overrated? Because when I think about Jimmy Butler, when I think about him being overrated, I'm just having a difficult time with the logic of his game. Nothing about his game stands out to me. It doesn't. That doesn't mean he's overrated, though. Jimmy Butler's got a very basic game. You know who else got a really basic game? Jordan. Michael Jordan had a very basic game. It wasn't nothing extra crispy about Jordan's game. Carmelo Anthony got a very basic game. So that doesn't make them overrated just because you got a basic game. So that wouldn't tell me that somebody is, that wouldn't make me say somebody is overrated because they got a basic game. Like I said, Michael Jordan got a basic game. Well, I said that Jimmy Butler doesn't have an elite mid-range game. I said that. And I'm not 100% sure he does have an elite mid-range game. I think he's a damn good mid-range shooter. I never questioned Jimmy Butler as a defender. He's an all-NBA defender, so I never questioned that. I never said anything about that. So I don't know where that logic is coming from, but I don't think Jimmy Butler is an elite mid-range shooter. I think he's got an above average. I think he's got a good mid-range game. Elite mid-range game. I think Jordan had an elite mid-range game. I think Kobe Bryant got an elite mid-range game. Kevin Durant got an elite mid-range game. James had an elite mid-range game. DeMar DeRozan got an elite mid-range game. I could go down the line. Is Jimmy Butler's mid-range game better or just as good as DeMar DeRozan's mid-range game? Is Jimmy Butler's mid-range game as good as Kawhi Leonard's mid-range game? Is Jimmy Butler's mid-range game? You think Jimmy Butler's mid-range game is as good as Kawhi Leonard's mid-range game? I don't think so. I do not think that I don't think his mid-range game is as good as Kawhi Leonard. No way. I am in disagreement with that. And the reason why I'm in disagreement with that is because I've seen Kawhi Leonard's mid-range game, and I've seen him against bigger guys. I've seen him in transition. I've seen him get his shot off. The thing about Jimmy Butler, and I think this goes with a lot of people, right? I think this goes with a lot of people. Because he's not flash, because he's not supremely athletic, because he doesn't have a super duper handle, and a lot of the stuff that he has is basic, he gets pawned off. Like I said, Gary Payton got a basic game. And there's no way that I'm going to discount somebody who's got a basic game just because they got a basic game. So I think about the greats who have great mid-range games. Who am I? I'm leaving a bunch of guys. Tim Duncan had a great mid-range game. Karl Malone had a great mid-range game. Kevin Garnett had a great mid-range game. Am I putting Jimmy Butler in that category with those guys in terms of a mid-range game? Like 15 to 18 feet? Was he as good as those guys? I don't know. Because that's what I think about when I think about elite. And when I think about mid-range, and Keyshawn, and by the way, Keyshawn needs to do his homework. There's a reason why LeBron James became the way he became, because he improved his mid-range game to elite. LeBron James was not an elite mid-range scorer for a long time, and then he became that. And you clearly weren't watching him if you don't think so. His ability to knock down the mid-range in transition, his ability to get his shot off the dribble in transition, his ability to get his shot off in the half court in the mid-range. All of that stuff became elite. He wasn't just driving to the basket or hitting threes. You absolutely off base with that, my man. Absolutely off base. No way you selling me that one. No way. You clearly aren't watching LeBron James. Gutter, when are you talking about LeBron James being an elite mid-range shooter? Because I think he's still a very good mid-range shooter. So are you going to sit there and tell me that LeBron James in 2012, in 2013, in 2016, when he was in Cleveland, did not have an elite mid-range game? Is that what you're telling me? Are you telling me that a guy who put in a fall-away 17-footer in his game to enhance his offensive juggernaut, to enhance his offensive bag, you telling me that he didn't have that in his game? He had that in his game always? There's no way that LeBron James did not improve and become an elite mid. That's how he became an elite scorer. That was the difference. That right there. That was the difference. Muhammad Butler's mid-range is better than Russell Westbrook's. That's not true. Don't do that. That is not true, sir. That is not true. No way is that true. You can name a bunch of guys who have a better mid-range than James, but that doesn't mean it's not elite. That doesn't mean that it's not elite. But since you wanna put guys out there who have a better mid-range than James, go ahead and name them. I'm all ears. Tell everybody in here all the guys that you want to name that have a better mid-range game than a guy who averaged 25 a game for his career. 25 a game for 18 straight years, and who shot almost 40% in the mid-range. Tell everybody in here. MJ, I'm with that. Leonard, okay, we can have that conversation. Bryant, okay. KD. Duncan, KG, no. Not KG. Jordan, Bryant, KD, I like that. Leonard, Duncan, I can get with that. Okay. I'm not going as far as Paul George. Rip Hamilton, nope. You think Sean Livingston? Nope, I'm not going there. Keep going. Yes, keep going, sir. Absolutely keep going. Because Sean Livingston, who shot maybe 3 shots a game, he didn't shoot nearly the volume. Hakeem Olajuwon had a better mid-range than LeBron James. I don't know about that, but okay. Carmelo Anthony, we can have that conversation, sure. CP3, I don't think so. He actually said Sean Livingston had a better mid-range than LeBron James. Sean Livingston shot, 4 shots a game? 5 shots a game? Something nuts like that? Zach Randolph got a better mid-range than LeBron James. Are you doing serious, man? Come on, man. Y'all bugging right now. All right, I'm off this. I'm good on this. So, anyway, those 5 I could give you. Those 5 I'll absolutely give you. It ain't nasty, King. I'm done with it. I'm done talking about it. I'm off this. To sit there and tell me that Rip Hamilton and Livingston and John Wall have better mid-range, have better mid-ranges than James. I'm good, yo. I'm straight. I'm straight. Y'all dudes bugging me out. Zach Randolph, I'm straight. So anyway, where does Miami go from here? That's the question that needs to be answered. I'll tell you where I think they need to go from here. So the one thing that has to happen is that they got to shore up that point guard spot. I'm good with letting Kyle Lowry go. I'm straight with that. I don't have a problem with. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm good with moving on from Kyle Lowry. I'm straight with that. I have no issue with moving on from Kyle Lowry. I think that you can get younger and more athletic at the point guard spot. If Philadelphia wants to hold on to James Harden, how about you call up Philadelphia and ask for Maxey? But you ain't got the nuts to do that. You ain't got the balls to do that, but that's something completely different. You don't need Donovan Mitchell neither. No, that's another You don't need more volume shooters. No, you don't. I think you need to show up the point guard spot. Y'all gonna kill me for this one, but I gotta tell you, the reason why we are where we are with these teams is because you guys don't hold these teams accountable. You don't. The first thing y'all do when a guy doesn't perform is you want to ship him out. That's the first thing that you guys want to do. You don't hold these guys, especially when you have the right guy. You don't hold these guys accountable. When a guy doesn't perform, let's get rid of him. And that's letting them off the hook. Completely letting them off the hook. So when you got the right guy, you have the right guy in Bam. So instead of telling Bam, this ain't good enough, your production in the playoffs has gone down every year. It's gone down every year, partly due to what we were doing, right? It's gone down partly because what we were doing. We haven't defined a role for you yet, but we have to do that. And on top of us having to do that, you got to get better offensively. You have to get better offensively because this isn't good enough. When you start holding these dudes accountable, right? When you start holding these guys, when you start holding these teams accountable, I can promise you they will get better. Not only will they get better, we'll start seeing these teams be around longer. There's a reason why the Warriors been around for as long as they've been around. In addition to getting lucky, these guys were held accountable. So we have to handle, you guys have to handle that. You have to. Know that shot with Jimmy Butler wasn't a bad decision. And here's why it wasn't a bad decision. If Jimmy Butler takes Al Horford to the basket, ain't no guarantee that he's going to score. Ain't no guarantee that he's going to get fouled. If he hits that shot, game's over. Or at least that puts a huge amount of pressure on the Boston Celtics. Add that to the fact that you wouldn't be where you are. You could say it was a horrible decision all you want, Muhammad. You wouldn't be where you were if not for Jimmy Butler. So with that being said, we riding with Jimmy Butler. Whatever he do, we riding with him. You're not going to turn around and tell me, Muhammad, this is what bothers me. Guys like you. What you're not going to do is you're not going to sit there and tell me that it was a horrible decision, but the night before, when he goes for 47 and he makes his first 3 threes and he goes 4 for 8 on the long ball, oh, he was great. But then last night, he shoots the long ball and misses, and that was a horrible decision. Get the hell out of here with that. I'm not listening to that from you. I will not. No, you either with me or you not. And if you're not with me, get out. And that's what it was with Butler. That's exactly what it was with Butler. He hit 4 of them tonight. He hit 4 of them 2 nights ago, Muhammad. So stop it. I'm not listening to you no more with that. Stop it. You either riding with us or you not. And that wasn't what lost the game for them. So don't sit there and talk to me like that's what lost the game for them, because it did not. The Boston Celtics jumped on them early, and they jumped on them early because of tempo. They sped the game up, and they had Miami on their heels right from the jump. And Miami was fighting the entire game to get back in the game. That's the point. Now, when we get back in the game, the reason why they got back in the game and they went on that 11-0 run in the fourth quarter, the reason why they did that was because Boston slowed the game back down. That's why they got back in the game. If Boston keeps the tempo how they had it, Boston wins that game going away. Muhammad, kill it, man. I'm done talking to you. Kill it. That's corny. That is absolutely corny, because you're the guy who's 1 minute telling me that this guy was awesome when he did this, but now it was his fault or he was the reason why they lost. Give me a break. He had 35 last night. 35. They get blown out without him. And you sitting here talking to me about the fact that he took a 3 to win the game? They get blown out last night without him. They get destroyed. And you sitting here talking to me about the fact that he took a 3 to win the game. Stop talking to me about this. I'm done with you. Get out of here with that, man. Why is it a bad Westbrook? You still not telling me why it was a bad shot. Why was it? If it goes in, is it still a bad shot? If it goes in, I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet every dollar that I own if it goes in. Jimmy Butler is a top 5 player in the NBA. I'm willing to bet if that shot goes in, Jimmy Butler is one of the 3 best Miami Heat players ever. I'm willing to bet that. But because he missed, it's a terrible shot. What was he thinking? He was thinking about winning the game, which is what our best player does. What you can't do is you can't sell me that Tom Brady throws 5 touchdowns in a game, and the 6th one to win the game, he throws an interception. That was a terrible throw. What was he thinking? He was thinking about winning the game. That's what he was thinking about. So I'm really looking forward to this Boston Golden State series, though. The reason why you shoot a 3, Westbrook, is because you're trying to win the game. That's why. We were behind the whole game. They weren't behind for some of the game or most of the game. They were behind the entire game. If he hits that and they go up in the game, that breaks Boston. That's why you shoot that. That's exactly why you shoot that. This thing ends in regulation because I'm not sure that Boston scores. And I don't think that they recover from that. Because don't forget, Miami was on an 11-0 run at that point. He hits that, that's a 14-0 run. And I think that breaks Boston. It is. I don't think he is neither, King. I don't think Looney is going to be the because, and the reason why, and it's not just because of those big bodies, right? It's not just because Robbie Williams is a big body and Horford is a big body. It's because the Boston Celtics, as a unit, number one, they gang rebound. Number two, defensively, they're much better than Dallas. They're better than Memphis, and they're better than Denver. So it's going to be completely different. He's going to get a bunch of different looks thrown at him. So, and that's usually what happens when you go deeper into the playoffs. You see better teams, and your production may go down. Especially when you're talking about role players. Your production goes the other way. So, Looney could very well be ineffective in a lot of different ways. I dubbed how Boston just gutted it out yesterday. I dig that because Robert Williams looks like he's not healthy, but he's understanding that, we have an opportunity to win the NBA championship. And if I could run, I'm playing. If I could run, I'm absolutely going. The thing about the Golden State Warriors that I dig is that I dig the fact that they gang rebound also. I dig that. I dig that. I really dig the fact that they gang rebound. And not only does the Golden State Warriors gang rebound, they create a lot of second chance opportunities for themselves. Not just on the defensive end, on the offensive end particularly, because they shoot a lot of long balls, and they got a lot of guys who gang rebound offensively. Now, the last thing that you want to do with this Golden State team is give them second and third chance opportunities to score. You don't want to do that because you will not last long with these guys. It won't happen. Ho. Go back. Hold on. I'm sorry. That just glossed over. Julian, my good man, I need you to step to the front of the congregation. Name 10 Miami Heat players better than Jimmy Butler. Go ahead. I'm not answering no more questions. Julian, go ahead. You said you can name 10 Miami Heat players better than Jimmy Butler. Name them. Name them. One. Okay. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with that one. James, okay. Wade. Mike Miller is a better player? Nah, King. Nope. He ain't do more for that Miami Heat team. I'm good with Wade. I'm good with James. I'm good with Haslam. I'm good with Hardaway. I'm good with the Diesel. Yep, I'm good with that. Glenn Rice? No. Nope. I'm not good with Glenn Rice. Nope. Bosh? Lonzo? I'm good with Lonzo. Definitely not. Jamal Mashburn is not a better player than Jimmy Butler. No, he wasn't. Absolutely not. No, he was not. Ray Allen hit the biggest shot. Okay, I can get with that logic. That doesn't make him a better player than Jimmy Butler, though, in a Miami Heat uniform. Nah. Bam? Nope. So I only got 6. I only got 6. Nah, Muhammad. Nope, you're not getting Bam. Nope. Mm-mm. So, anyway, when I look at this NBA Finals preview, I'm looking forward to Mario Chalmers was not a stop. Really, stop. Okay, please. Now, when we talk about when we talking about the best, when we talk about the best players, right? Right. When we talking about the best players in an organization, what are you? What's the logic here when we're talking about the best players? Yes, we can, Justin. Because what I'm trying to make sense of who the best, what constitute a player being the best player in the history of that organization. What does he have to do to be constituted as the best player? So one of the things I think about is impact. That's one of the things I do think about. I do think about impact. Oh, I think about how big a deal you were, right? I think about winning. What did you do while you were there? How long were you there? Longevity matters. So Haslam, Wade, James, Lonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway. He did not do more than Rayon. He did not do more than Haslam. No, he didn't. Mm-mm. So here's the thing. When I look at this Boston Celtic team, right? I look at this Boston Celtic team. Offensively, they're younger than Golden State. And in addition to them being younger, right? In addition to them being younger, they're better defensively. However, I'm having a difficult time betting against the vets on that Golden State team. And here's why. Because I think that athletically, you could match them. I think Gary Payton's going to play in that series. Kuminga's going to play in this series. Poole is going to play in this series. So athletically, you can match Boston. And if you could keep it close, because I think that the Golden State Warriors are deeper. I think that they're better coached right now. Excuse me. I think that Golden State is better coached. I think that Steve Kerr is better at adjusting. Boston's got the better defense. I think they got the better interior defense. Golden State got the better long ball shooters. And I think that they have more experience. And I think that if you could keep it close, I think that Golden State's vets will be the difference in winning and losing these games. That's why I'm picking Golden State to win it in 5, maybe 6 games. Hey, one more time. I'm sorry. DMO. One more time for the people in the back. What is Poole on defense? What is Poole on defense? Yo. Oh, yo. My man said he's food. He's straight food. He is food. I don't have Curry. I don't have Marcus Smart locking up Curry. Number one, it is funny, Muhammad. Actually, it is. He is food. I don't got Marcus Smart locking up Steph Curry. And one of the main reasons why I don't have Marcus Smart locking up Steph Curry is because he's hobbled. Steph Curry, his action off the basketball is going to be a problem, especially when you matching up with him. There's going to have to be a lot of switching going on, right? A lot of bumps on curls and screens, a lot of chasing him off of screens, and I think that's going to be very difficult for Marcus Smart. Very difficult. So, I'm having a tough. I'm having a tough. Marcus Smart got his work cut out for him, no doubt about that. He definitely got his work cut out for him. I think that I look at Jason Tatum. I think he could cancel out unless Curry is going for 35 and 40. Even though Jason Tatum has proven that he can do that, I think that he's going to have to cancel out any of Curry's production. I think that Jaylen Brown is going to have to cancel out any of Klay Thompson's production. I think the difference is going to be Andrew Wiggins, because I've said this to you guys countless times. Andrew Wiggins, it's like when you're doing bills or when you open up the laundry, open up the dryer, and you find a crumpled up $20 bill. That's who Andrew Wiggins is. Like, damn, I didn't know I had this. I forgot that I had this. And to bring guys like Poole and Kuminga and Gary Payton II off the bench, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. Derek White is going to have his hands full. He's going to have his hands full with guys like that. Grant Williams is going to have his hands full with those guys. So I think that's going to be the difference in why Golden State wins. I think that Andrew Wiggins, I think that I was just about to get to that. I think that Andrew Wiggins is going to accept the assignment to have to deal with Tatum, and he's going to do exactly what he did with Luka. We're not switching. No switching. I'm going to deal with him. Because what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to get Curry in isolation. We're not switching. No switching. Curry hedges, chase him off the screen, and I'll get back to him. But I'm not switching. So, Trey, you wild for that. Trey, you super wild for that. You are. You wild for that one, Tatum. No, he is not. You are definitely wild for that. Luka did that to everybody. So is the plan to, if you want to go there, is the plan to let Jason Tatum go off and shut the door on all the rest of them dudes? Because I know that Jaylen Brown at any point could go an entire half without scoring. I know that Jaylen Brown, he could very well give me 28 points in a half. And he might not score again for the rest of the game. He might not give me nothing else. That might empty him. And it might carry over to the next game with him. So I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't. If Ja didn't get hurt, get that out of here. And if grandma had balls, she'd be grandpa. So ain't nobody listening to that. Nobody cares about that. Nobody. I can promise you that. I don't know if they sweep them, but I think they could make quick work of the Boston Celtics. I do think that. Now, I know that a lot of us, because I didn't think that they would smoke Dallas. I didn't. I did not, especially after what I seen with Dallas when they went up, how they handled how they handled Phoenix in Game 6 and Game 7. There was nothing for me to believe that Golden State would smoke them dudes. Nah. I didn't see that. I did not. Just like there's nothing to make me believe that Golden State can't win this series. Because I think that the disparity is offensively, that's where the divide is. Hang on for a second. I'm going to get to that. What first or second round exit team looking at the team in the West Finals and saying, damn, I wish we played them? None, because they out. That's the reason why they got bounced, those first or second round exits. That's the reason why they got bounced. So none of them are looking at that. He's going to have to, Bentley. He's going to have to do. He's the one who's going to have to chase Curry around. He's going to have to accept that assignment. And not only is he going to have to accept that assignment, he's going to have to accept that assignment because there are other. First of all, they're a better offensive team than the Miami Heat, right? Offensively, when I think about what they had to deal with Milwaukee, I think they could handle Golden State because they got past Giannis. So they're not going to see anybody better than that. And they did get past them. But the difference with Golden State is that they're getting it from a number of different places. They're not going to have to deal with a better player than Giannis. No, that's not going to happen. The problem is this Golden State team is you getting it from a number of different places. That's going to be the difference. It's a bunch of them, King. I like what Cleveland doing. I like what Memphis is doing. I like what Charlotte is doing. Charlotte got to get their head coaching situation correct. I like what Cleveland is doing. I like what Charlotte is doing. I like what they're doing down in San Antonio. I said Memphis already. And the great thing about Memphis is all of those boys that they got down, all those young guys that they got down there, Jaren Jackson, Brooks. A lot of these dudes is still on their rook deals. So we don't have to pay them yet, right? So we still got some time. Bain, that's what I'm thinking about. Desmond Bain. A lot of those guys are still on their rook deals. So we don't have to pay them yet. So we got some time. We don't have a lot of time because, I mean, you know this just as well as I do. When the time comes, you're going to have to start paying guys. We can't pay everybody. So they've got some time where they can milk this because they got a lot of guys on rook deals. Same thing in Cleveland. Garland is on his rook deal. Evan Mobley is on his rook deal. Okoro is on his rook deal. Kevin Love comes off the books after this season. So you got some money to play with. You got a lot of money to play with. I don't think so, Mark. And here's why I don't think so with Toronto. The reason why I don't think so with Toronto is because I look at a team who I think that they benefited. I think that they benefited this year from it being a little bit difficult, it being a little bit different in the East. These teams in the East getting better. Milwaukee's going to be back next year. Boston is going to be back next year. Boston is another one of those teams like Memphis. That's a young group. Milwaukee's going to be back next year. Boston is going to be back next year. Brooklyn is going to be back next year. Let's see. Miami is going to be back next year. I think Atlanta's going to get better. Who else am I thinking about? There are a number of different teams in the Eastern Conference that are going to be better. So I'm not that impressed with what Toronto is doing in terms of their young guys. I think that they need to make some offseason moves. They definitely need to make some offseason moves because they were teetering right around that 5-6, that 5-6 range. Now, what do they have to do to make that jump to move into the top three? They already got an All-NBA player in Siakam, right? So they already got an All-NBA player in him. Now the question is, and they got an all-star and Van Fleet. I'm not 100% sure that Van Fleet is. I mean, I felt the same way because I could be wrong. Because I felt the same way about Kyle Lowry. I felt the same way about Kyle Lowry. I didn't think that you could win it with him as your lead guard. But the difference is that Leonard showed up and he made that all legit. Also, Chicago too, absolutely. So Toronto could be looking at unless whatever. What's going to be interesting is the offseason moves that they make. You know, they're not really paying a lot of guys in that group. They already extended Van Fleet, right? They already extended Siakam, and that's it. So they ain't really paying nobody up there. Well, are you talking about King? Are you talking about Toronto? Is that who you mean? They did pay Gary Trent too. That's correct, Mark. They did pay Gary Trent. So it depends on what they do in the offseason, at the moves that they make. Well, I'll tell you this, King. I think that they got to get bigger. Philadelphia proved that. They definitely got to get a big man. In Toronto, they definitely got to get a big man. And when I say a big man, I don't mean they don't need an elite big man. Just somebody who can man the paint and stretch the defense. Like, I would love Miles Turner in Toronto. I think he would be great for what they're doing. He would be perfect for what they're doing. Jared Allen type, a guy like that. Excuse me, Valanciunas. I would love Valanciunas back in Toronto. I don't know why they don't like him up there. Oh, so you see, you already on my page. You already know what I'm thinking. I think Mark Williams is going to be an awesome pro. I don't think he's going to be a good pro. I think he's going to be an awesome pro. An awesome pro. Really chew it. But here's the thing, really. I mean, Precious is small. And did you see the significant height difference with him and Embiid? And how much the disparity was between him and Embiid? Not only that, like, you didn't really get much from him offensively. So that's a little tricky. I think Achua is he's a rotation guy, but he's not a guy that's going to get you to the next level. So, but it's 6'8". That's small, B. And I understand that, but because you need big guys to deal with guys like Giannis. You need big guys to deal with guys like Embiid in the East. Who's dealing with Kevin Durant in the East? Who's dealing with Giannis? Who's dealing with Embiid? I'm thinking about big guys. If they could get DeAndre Ayton, he would be perfect for what they're doing. Absolutely. Yes. Well, here's the thing, though, King. There's a lot of guys who were better in college. Like, I thought, and I don't know if you know this name, but I remember when I was in school, I remember watching Aaron McKee and watching Eddie Jones and thinking to myself, Eddie Jones is going to be a better pro than him. I remember watching Darren Williams at Illinois and watching the Big Ten player of the year. I forgot the point guard's name, but I remember watching him going, Darren Williams is going to be a better pro than him when they get to the pros. So because you're better in college, the pro game might be more, your game might be more suited for the pro game. So I think that, thank you, my man. So I think that because you were in college and like a guy like Mark Williams, supremely athletic, legit big, he looked like he a bit of 6'11". He may be 7 foot. Look like he touched the top of the box, run like a deer. I think he's going to be an awesome pro. Awesome pro. I think he is, King. I absolutely think that Barnes is a franchise player. I do. I think he's a building block, somebody that you can build it around. You still got to get. You already got Siakam, right? You got to get Siakam. I mean, you already got Siakam. Now you got Barnes. The question is, what are you doing with OG? That's the question. What are you gonna do with OG? Is OG a rotation guy? Is OG a guy who we're using him as a pawn to get to get maybe another draft pick, maybe a number one? So, But what do you do with I don't blame the Nets for that. And the reason why I don't blame the Nets for that is simply because I've said this in plenty of my posts in the past. If I can't build my unit around an unstable leader. Think about being in a relationship. Are you building around honey if she unstable? Every time you turn around, y'all get in a fight, she want to break up. Every time you guys have a disagreement, she flipping out on you. You don't hear from her for 2-3 days. There's never any common ground with you guys. Can you build a relationship with her? So that's the same thing going on with Kyrie Irving, where as awesome as he is as a basketball player, he's very unstable. And I can't build my unit around a guy who's unstable. I can't. I cannot build my unit around a guy that's unstable. Do I think Tatum got that dog in him to be a top 5 player? Lil Day, take it a step further than that. In another year, 2 years, thanks, really, I appreciate you, brother. In another year, 2 years, we're going to have a serious conversation about Jason Tatum being the best player in the game. We're going to have a serious conversation about that. Serious. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Hang on, I think I missed that. I do think that. Why you love angry girls? Sound like you toxic, Dia. You think they should trade Siakam? And if you trade in Siakam, my question to you is which route are you going? Do you think you have the wrong guy? If we trade Siakam and we get his money off of our books, which route are we going? Are we starting over? Are we starting over with Barnes? Are we building it around him? Are we going to get draft picks and we starting over with him? So what's the plan? What's the plan if we moving off Siakam? Because if you trading Siakam, you telling me that this is the best that we're going to get from him. And with that being said, we can't build around him no longer. So we got to get, then that means that Scotty Barnes is our franchise player, and we're going to build it around him. So let's see what we could get for Siakam. And if that's true, you're asking a lot, man. If that's true, then you have to do that on draft night. I'm not sure that I'm prepared to move off Siakam yet. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that just yet. I don't know. That is fair because I don't think he will either. I don't think he'll ever be better than Giannis, Joker, or Embiid. That is fair. So if that's true, so are you saying the same thing, Gutter, about Barnes? Are you going to wait out? So you building it with Barnes, and are you going to wait out and see that Embiid falls off and wait out Giannis's reign? Same thing with Joker, because barring any injuries, Giannis and Joker, they're going to be around for a long time. Those guys are going to be around for a long time. I can't say with 100%. I'm not going to say with 100% certainty, but I'm not sure that Barnes is going to be Giannis good. I'm not, and not only that, let me flip the question around. Does Barnes have to be Giannis good? Does Siakam have to be Giannis good? Because if you're trying to win it, you may have to be that good for a series, or you can be lucky enough to avoid them. You was talking about Tatum. Oh, I completely disagree with that. No, I absolutely disagree with that. And I disagree with that simply because I see the commitment on the defensive side of the basketball. I see it. I absolutely see it. I see the commitment on the defensive side of the basketball, and I see the complete player that he's becoming. So I completely disagree with that. I already see the long ball there. He can knock that down. He's one of the better finishers in the game. The in-between game ain't there yet. That's because the game hasn't slowed down. But the in-between game is going to get there, right? He's going to get there with the in-between game. And I already see the commitment defensively. So I disagree with that. No, sir. I absolutely disagree with that. Vamp, remember something. And I want to make sure that I really hope to see you at this time in the future. And the reason why is because Vamp, let me ask you a question. If Middleton is healthy, are we having this conversation about the Boston Celtics? If Chris Middleton was healthy, are we having this conversation about the Boston Celtics right now? I don't think so, Justo. I don't. Actually, Gutter, it is. It is more. Because it makes him, because what it does is it now makes him more valuable. Because he is becoming, him being a playmaker, him being a scorer, and now you couple that into him also becoming an elite defender, man, I'll eat all of that. I'll eat that. I'll eat the playmaking from Joker to now get a complete player in Jason Tatum. I'll eat that. No doubt about it. I'll definitely eat that. I don't think they do, dear. I don't. I do not think that they beat them. They took them to 7 without him. You think with him in the lineup, with Middleton in the lineup, they beat them? Nah. That's 20 a game. That's gone. He absolutely is. I was using 96 as a reference to say that because you're the defensive player of the year, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best player in the game. Just like if you're the league MVP, that doesn't mean you're the best player in the game. I said that as a point of reference. Even though when I look at Gary Payton, even though he was younger than Jordan, I'm not sure that he was a better defender than Jordan. I think that his team was better. I think that the disparity between him and Jordan was the fact that he was younger. And I think that Jordan being on a better defensive team, I think that helped him. But when I look at what Gary Payton did in that, what Gary Payton did in that 95-96 season, I do think that he earned Defensive Player of the Year. I do think that. But when I think about Gary Payton as a defender in 96, I think Jordan I think he had a less difficult job because he was on a better team defensively. He had Scottie Pippen and he had Dennis Rodman. So they took the burden off of him in terms of his individual defense. So now he was able to roam around more than he would if he had to just individually defend guys, which he still was elite at that. He still was an elite defender. But I think the fact that he was on a better defensive team, I think that helped him out even more. I think Scottie Barnes could be better than Jimmy Butler, considering how versatile he is. Not only how versatile he is, his ability to score. I think he's a better athlete than buckets. He may even still be, what is he, 19, 20? He might still be growing. I think I'm not going to say that he's going to be better. I'm going to take that back. I'm not going to say that he's going to be better than buckets, but I think that he's got a really high ceiling. I do. I think he's got a really high ceiling. Nah, Justo. I think Jimmy Buckets is higher than. I thought that Jimmy Buckets was higher than 15 anyway. I had him in the 11 to 13 range. I had him in that Devin Booker, Paul George. I had him in that area. Darren, the X factors for the Celtics is Andrew Wiggins and that bench. That's the X factor for the Golden State Warriors. Andrew Wiggins and their bench. If the Golden State Warriors bench can produce like they've been producing in the playoffs, and they can hold the Celtic bench at bay, and Andrew Wiggins can produce like he's been producing, it's going to be bad business for Boston. Now, Vamp, here's the thing that I got to make sure that I mention to you. It's a difference between being a better player and playing better. So, is Paul George a more talented player than Jimmy Butler? I think so. Is Book more talented than Jimmy Butler? I think so. I think Buckets outplayed both of them dudes, though. That matters. That absolutely matters. Absolutely, that matters. Mm-hmm. Tatum or Ja? Tatum, that's who I'm rolling with. I could see it too. I do think that Paul George is more talented than Jimmy Butler, no doubt about it. He's elite on both sides of the basketball. But I definitely think that Buckets outplayed both of them. I do think that. Nah, he didn't give Jordan buckets like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was because he got hurt. He gave Boston buckets, though. Yes, he gave Bird buckets. He absolutely did that. No, it isn't, Nicholas. You're right about that. That West is no joke, my man. No joke. Well, what's the plan going forward if they win, Fred? Because they have some decisions to make. Jordan Poole after next season, he come off the books after next season. So, I mean, that's a big deal. He comes off the books after next season. So they still got to deal with Gary Payton's money. Andrew Wiggins comes off the books after next season. So these are things, whether they win or lose, these are things that they have to deal with. So it's going to be an interesting thing. They're still on the books for 2 more years. Klay Thompson's still on the books for 2 more years at $83 million. So they actually can keep Poole. The difference is the difference is Wiggins. His money is going to be the difference. What do they plan on doing with him? It's a great matchup. I'm really looking forward to this Boston Golden State Finals. Absolutely, I am. Here's the thing, Mike, because I can appreciate the Eric Gordon logic. I'm looking at Milwaukee, and you might kill me for this. We are having a completely different conversation about these dudes if Middleton was healthy. We're having a completely different conversation. So there's not a lot that needs to change in Milwaukee. There is not a lot. I do think that they need to get younger at the 5 spot. They do need to get younger there. And other than that, I think we straight everywhere else. Connaughton got to come. Remember what we got finished talking about, guys, where I'm talking about holding these guys accountable. Connaughton, you need to be better next year. Grayson Allen, you need to be better next year. Hold these dudes accountable, B. These dudes need to come. Portis, you need to get better. Hold these dudes accountable. Make these dudes get better instead of just shipping them off. That's why you see these teams that we still talking about 30, 40 years ago. That's why we still talking about them today. Because this is exactly what they did. They held these teams accountable. They held these guys accountable. That's why Scottie Pippen didn't get shipped out in 1990 when he had a headache in the Eastern Conference Championship. Scottie, you got to get better. This ain't good enough. It's not. No, it's not. Magic, you got to get better. This ain't good enough. Bird, you got to get better. There's a reason why they didn't ship out Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal after they got swept out of the playoffs 2 consecutive years. This ain't good enough. You are our guys. We got the right guys. You guys got to get better. You guys got to get better. So, yeah, they did. They absolutely did. So, all right, guys, it's about that time for me. So we're going to do this all week. We're doing this all week, guys. Absolutely. Up until the finals. We're doing this all week. So I know where to find y'all. Y'all know where to find me at. I think that the Warriors beat these dudes in 5, maybe 6 games tops. But you dudes know where to find me, and we definitely going to do this again real soon. So until then, take it light. Take it.